Welcome back, everybody. This is Herbie with my Nomadic Dream. I don't have a hat on today because I'm getting a photo. I'm drinking my morning coffee. I'm leaving Quartzsite to head to Parker so that I can get a Arizona license and get my truck registered in Arizona, transfer the title, all that good stuff. I'm also going to be getting domiciled. And the domicile company that I use was Moon Mountain. So I went down there the other day, filled out all the paperwork, and now I'm heading down to Parker to get it all taken care of. Because earlier this week, I was going to use my aunt's address because she lives in Benson, Arizona. But because of my CDL, I needed 2 forms of mail or some crap. So I just went with Moon Mountain because that's where my mail is going to be sent, and then they'll forward it to me. So I paid Moon Mountain $130 for their yearly mail service for forwarding. The domicile was an additional $50, but since I was already a member and I had a mailbox there, it was discounted like $80, so it wasn't really that much. But the one thing that I did have to do to get domicile through Moon Mountain was I had to stay at an RV park for at least one night. So since I stayed at Hasler's RV park for the past month now, that gives Moon Mountain a domicile address that I could use to get my Arizona license and show residency. But yeah, that's currently what I'm doing. I am getting a domicile and a new ID. So, yep, hooray! So, hopefully this time it goes well, because this is a long drive. So I got Bob back here in the back, and in order to qualify for domicile at Moon Mountain, I did have to stay at an RV park for at least one night so that they have a domicile address to put on the paperwork. But since I have been at Hasler's now for the past month, that works. And that was $50 just to pay for the Moon Mountain domicile package, and then $130 for the whole year mailbox service at Moon Mountain. So it should be just fine. So yeah, Bob is still going to be an illegal dead alien. Oh yes, I got the green light on Parker Highway. Woo! Which means no waiting. Cars, keep moving, there you go. Oh, this is gonna be a good day. And then another thing that's required to get domicile is you gotta sign an affidavit saying that you will reside in the state of Arizona for at least 6 months and 1 day out of the whole entire year. That doesn't have to be consecutive. That could literally be every other day plus 1, and you're fine. So use that information how you will. But yeah, I do plan on coming back to Quartzsite next year or later this fall. So there's always that. Oh, I also have a phone interview today for a job up in the Grand Canyon or Moab. I can't remember which one. I think it's Moab. It pays like $25 an hour. Comes with a free RV site. And I'll be driving a van all day long. So, we'll see. Anything's possible. But I'm going to focus on driving since I'm going to the motor vehicle department, you know, the DMV. I just renewed my Michigan driver's license like 3 weeks ago. I paid like $50 for all of my endorsements that's on my license, so I'm gonna have to do all that again. And another thing, if you're gonna be transferring your license to another state, make sure that they fill out the paperwork correctly so that you get your motorcycle endorsement, your CDL, your tanker endorsements, all of that stuff. Because the little information that's on another state's ID does not match their little symbols on another state's. Like, for example, the last time that I moved to Arizona, to Glendale, Peoria area, they didn't put any of my endorsements on. And luckily, I did not leave the office when I realized, so that I can get back in line and get them to correct it, because they gave me a regular driver's license. No CDL, no motorcycle endorsement, nothing. And that would have meant that I would have had to go back through the whole class, because in the state's eyes, I would have forfeited my CDL. So, and that's very important to keep, especially if you have one in this lifestyle, because it's an easy job to get. So, double check before you leave. I've never had this issue in Michigan before, but apparently in Arizona, they just don't pay attention. So, yeah. Save yourself a headache. Another option that you have to get a domicile and a driver's license in Arizona as a full-time traveler is you can pay for the yearly mailbox at Moon Mountain, and then when you go to the DMV, especially if you have just a regular driver's license, not a CDL, you can actually put BLM, La Polsa North, West, Tyson Wells, or La Polsa South on your actual address on your driver's license. Did you know that? I've heard it before, but a couple of my friends recently did the yearly mailbox service at Moon Mountain, and the DMV in Parker allowed them to put the BLM land as their physical address on their driver's license. So that's always an option too, which is really awesome. But usually banks, if you're wanting to have a bank or get a loan someday, they typically want a physical address on file, not a P.O. box. So you might have to do your research on the whole BLM permanent address thing on your driver's license. But that's an option. That's a really awesome option that a lot of people don't talk about here on YouTube. So I figured that was good to tell you guys. This is going to be the 5th time that I have an Arizona driver's license. 5. Oh, another cool thing about Arizona driver licenses, if you have a regular driver's license, it will not expire until you're 65 years old. So if you are 20 years old right now and you get a driver's license, you are good until you're 65. So if you're 35, that gives you 30 years with not having to change your driver's license or renew it or any of that stuff. And that's really good for being a full-time nomad, because it's one less thing you had to pay for every year. You don't have to renew it. And if you always have the BLM as your address, even better. Something to think about. Alright, I just arrived to the DMV here in Parker, and I spilled coffee on my pants. But before I go in, I should probably put some drops in my eyes, because I have severe dry eye from having LASIK, which is another reason why I wear sunglasses all the time. But, yep, I look good. I always look good. I make this look good. But I'm going to get my paperwork here. Got everything that I need right here. So I'm going to get inside and take care of this. And hopefully everything goes perfectly. So I just left the Parker DMV. The domicile affidavit that I paid $50 for does not work for a CDL, but it would work for a regular driver's license. Even if you use the LTVA BLM land, it would work for a regular driver's license. But with the CDL, they need an actual piece of mail where you were receiving mail at there. Not a mail service address, but a physical address. So now I'm going to have to put in a change of address form with the USPS, put in my previous address, put in the address at my aunt's house in her third lot, Unit C, and then once I send that in, the U.S. Postal Service will send me back a piece of mail confirming the address change, and that will work to get domicile in Arizona with being a CDL holder, because I don't want to give up that potential money-making license, because it's quick to get a job. There's tons of jobs out there for a CDL driver, and I don't want to forfeit that. Even though I had to get a DOT physical every year, and that costs money, but for anything that may happen in the future, it will be nice to rely on a very good paying job that I can get quickly anywhere. So I just had to put it back on the drawing board, figure it out. Unfortunately, I'm leaving Arizona in a week to go to Utah, so I won't be able to necessarily take care of it before then, but I can at least get that all going so that when I do come back to Arizona, I can get it taken care of. Because I did recently, just like a month ago, renew my Michigan driver's license, so that's still good for 4 years. And I'm currently going to be traveling, so for any purposes, I am still legal in the eyes of the government. Michigan does have forever plates on travel trailers, so I'm good there for the life of the trailer, because I don't necessarily plan on changing that registration, because once the trailer's plated, that's it. Like in Michigan, you usually sell trailers with a license plate because they're forever. As for my vehicle registration, I can do that online in Michigan when that comes due in July, so I'm fine there as well until I come back. I just basically got to change my address from where my physical address is in Michigan, at my friend's house, to my aunt's house, so that I no longer receive mail in Michigan. So yeah, any important mail will be going to my aunt's house. Anything that I physically order or need shipped to a different address could either go to Moon Mountain, they'll forward it to me wherever I am, or I can just have packages shipped directly to wherever I am right now. So everything's covered. Everything is still good. It was a little frustrating, but I still had a secondary plan, which was the original plan, but I forgot about the change of address form, so that was on me. But it's figured out, so we are good to go once I get more time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll keep you guys updated once I actually go back through the whole process. And later, guys. Bye.